My name is Ross Williams. I'm the founder and CEO of Global Personals, who run whitelabeldating.com. We actually just celebrated our 8th birthday party. We founded it 8 years ago, and actually myself and Steve started the business. We built it on our credit cards. We had no external investment, no VCs, private equity, and it took us 4 years from 2003 to 2007 to grow from nothing to 3 million a year revenue. And then in 2007 we thought, well, there's a great opportunity here, bet everything on it, and in those last 4 years we've grown from 3 million a year revenue to 30 million a year revenue. And that's really thanks to the partners through White Label Dating and the team that we've got here. No, we've been white label from the start. It was just simply that for the first 4 years, because we were buying traffic on credit cards, much like our partners do today. We've been in their shoes. You buy traffic on the credit cards. We then juggled the balance from one card to another to another. I think I had 6 credit cards at one time, and so it took us time to grow it. But no, we were white label from the start. We had our first partner came on board in 2004. Was then called EMAP, now called Bauer Media, and they're one of our largest partners now. We've got a presence out in Miami, and that's just a small office out there. Again, small presence in New York, but what we find is whilst we're preparing to go into the US, the main focus has been UK, Ireland, South Africa, Australia, and it works really well from here. This has been the core of it, but we recognise to grow significantly overseas we need to have a full-time presence there. Welcome to Global Personals. Everyone here, we're based in Windsor in the UK. This is the UK office here. We've got just under 100 staff here at the moment, and this is the heart of the operation. This is where sort of everything happens. Just under 100 at the moment, and I think we'll top 100 in the next month.
This is the entire company?
This entire company.
Okay, it's not like there's divisions of marketing and software.
Well, yeah, I'll talk through. So you've got the whole business. We've got the partner team here. So these are guys that run White Label Dating, purely focused on that from helping partners maximise their revenues on that. We have email, CRM, half dozen people just looking after email. We send 8 million emails a day. Pretty huge amount of emails going out, and they look after all of those, make sure we've got deliverability there. You see in the background all over that section, that's development. So they're the guys that build the platform, business intelligence, and then in the middle, at the heart of the business, is customer care. Jess, who works on the partner team now, started off on the customer care team, grew to lead the customer care team, has joined now on the partner team, and it's fantastic because she brings a lot of experience of the customers, having spent 5 years talking to them and working for everything. We can bring that to our partners.
Okay.
That's the pitch I've been using to my partners.
So Jess,
in a good light.
to be honest, the great thing with customer care experience is they learn our partners better than anyone else, and that's thing. So Jess, she knows what their issues are and how we can help them. That's important because we can put that back into the partner marketing, but also into product development. I guess the main difference with us as a business is whereas Zeus or Speed Data might have one brand, we have 6,000 brands at the moment around the world. So our model is very much our partners are responsible for the brand and the marketing. So in the case of Bauer Media or EMAP, their job is to get the customer there and have a brand that they trust. Once that customer joins, we do everything else. So we do the software, the payment processing, the customer support, the hosting, and we're investing continually in that. So it generally works really well. It's rare for someone to be a jack of all trades. And with us, what we do, we focus on what we're good at, our partners focus on what they're good at. And I think tenfold growth over the last 4 years is testament to that model working really well.
So the benefit, as opposed to creating my own independent site, would be to share the database.
You immediately get a database that works, so it's up and running with well over 6 million members in there. You get the software is all there, and what we say is that people can start a site on a platform, prototype, because the thing with online dating is marketing. It doesn't matter if you've got this bell and whistle, we can copy any technology. So you get these companies that will come along and say, I'm going to take on dating because I've got this widget on my site, I'm doing it. Well, if it works, great, we copy it and put it on our platform, 6,000 sites. In terms of the model, I think people should start with a platform, make sure their proposition, their brand and their marketing method is right, and then they can scale, and then they can look at bringing something in-house.
a client that signs up with you, is there an upfront fee?
No, it's completely free. We work on a revenue share. So, you know, one of the things is when you tell people what we do and they seem suspicious, the argument is, look, we don't make money unless they make money. So they have absolutely nothing to lose. And I have 100 staff who are very hungry to pay for. I've got big offices to pay for. I want our partners to make money because if they make money, we make money. And that's, you know, I think that's kind of comforting because they've got nothing to lose. It also means they can focus all their resources, investment in the marketing of the brand, which is what makes a difference. These are some of the awards that Global Personals have won. Deloitte, Digital Entrepreneur Awards, and 3 iDate Awards, which we're very proud of. I think we've won more awards, iDate Awards, than anyone. And that's for Best Software Provider and Best Affiliate Program. So that's quite cool. We've also Fast Track Awards and others. So we can see around the office.
Apart from basic credit cards, what other payment systems do you accept?
In addition to credit and debit cards, we accept PayPal and we accept mobile payments as well. I think depending on what territories you go on, different payment methods become more or less important. For the territories we operate in, you're going to get 80-90% of people that way. I think mobile and social become very exciting because with mobile you can take payments through the app and through the App Store, which reduces friction, which is good, and with social, with Facebook credits, that opens some doors there. If they play Farmville, then they can pay for their dating experience. So that's going to be really exciting for us all, I think. You can register using your Facebook details, so it is simple, single click, yes, click again, yes, and they're registered. I think they might have to, in some cases, enter a password, but Facebook's great. It's a fantastic acquisition source, and loads of our partners are using it for marketing, advertising, and of course we see that as a huge area of development. We do, where we're obviously looking at mobile and social is a big area for us.
When I do the one-click sign-up with white label dating, the data is coming into your database, both
Yep.
the username, the age, things like that. You're collecting all that data. That user doesn't have to enter that.
No, not at all. It's really nice and slick, and it's just about improving conversion because everything, you know, how many visitors can become members, how many members can become paying members, anything we can do to get more visitors becoming members or more members become paying is great for our partners. Our members are retention team. The retention team there is to basically keep our customers for longer. And that's important for our partners because obviously our partners will pay to acquire traffic. It's important when members join and when they pay, they stay for as long as possible. And ultimately, you know, people shouldn't be leaving a dating site unless they've found love. So the retention team are there to help them make the most of their experience, make sure they've filled out good profiles, sent winks, messages, uploaded photos, and done all of that before they then cancel their subscription.
In terms of, let's say, your clients, when they advertise, whether it's pay-per-click or they're advertising on other sites, how they check their click-throughs versus the conversions, how does it work?
Well, I mean, up to the point of conversion, they'll typically use Google Analytics, so they'll have their landing pages, they'll use A/B tests, use Google Optimizer, so they A/B test that, and to the point of that person converting, they can use Google. Once that person converts, we have a partner portal, which tracks everything as well. Basically an integrated version of Google Campaign Manager. They can use that as well. So it takes the whole journey because obviously you could get some customers that convert really well, but if they only stay for a month, that's not particularly profitable for you as a partner. What you want is partners, yes, that convert well, but critically that will stay there for 3, 4, 5 months. Then they'll probably go. So if we do our job, they're going to find someone. But ultimately, not all relationships work out, or it will be with our high school sweetheart. So for that reason, you want to make sure the customer has a great experience. So if they are single again, they will come back to the same site.
This is, you said, profile moderation.
We moderate all profiles, photos, videos, icebreakers, diary entries, basically everything. So what these guys are doing are looking to make sure that it looks like a genuine user, that's not a scammer, and they'll be checking a whole lot of things to do that. What Matthew's going through, he's looking through profile moderations. It's automatically going to pick out anything suspicious and alert him. He's actually going to delve in, just make sure the moderations are genuine.
So give me a rough idea. Let's say a given 100,000 profiles, how many would be suspect?
Roughly, say, 5%, something like that.
Okay.
You know, you do a lot of stuff before it even comes in.
It's automated for the most part, but when he gets it flagged, He still has to manually. At that point, he has to manually look at it. So out of that 100,000, how many require like a manual?
Well, all of those 100,000 would go through.
Oh, really?
We go absolutely hardcore on our moderation. That's about the quality of the service. Rosie's looking at profile moderations, so we can see she might approve, she might reject, she might mark as suspicious, because actually if it's someone, it looks, nothing to say they're a scammer, so we can mark someone as suspicious and then we continue to monitor them over the next week, and you can then see, keep an eye on people. Ultimately, a scammer can just copy a genuine profile. And that's a challenge. So how do you deal with that? You look at the messaging patterns, and you can let them on, but then we're able to keep an eye on them afterwards.
So you have basically full-time people, and that's their job.
A lot of companies will outsource that to third parties operating around the world. We keep everything in-house because actually this is critical because it can influence product development, it can influence partner team, marketing, everything we do. And I'd say the quality of our database is superior as a result of this. You make sure there's only genuine people on there.
Your customer base, meaning that is your partner.
Yes.
How many are running, not how many, what percentage are casual dating, what percentage are niche dating, what percentage are gay dating? I mean, how does it break down?
In terms of partners, about half of them will be on generalist sites. So that's like your Match.com style sites. So they're generalists and we can service those. What's really exciting to us is the niche areas. Our niches can go to geographic, ethnicity, religion, physical attributes, education, personal attributes. A nice one I saw the other day is dateginger.co.uk. So if you want to find a redhead, you go there and there's only people on that are redheads or strawberry blonde. So that's the kind of niches we go now. About half our business comes from those sites. So this is Global Dev, and these are the guys that develop the white label dating platform. We come up to about 25, 30 full-time developers. We invest heavily in this. All of our partners benefit from about £1.5 million a year worth of development, all in-house. Okay, that's critical because actually the markets we support, typically UK, Ireland, the US, South Africa, Australia, it's important that people developing that are actually part of that culture and understand it all. We can see the team here. We've got obviously the testing team, so their job is to make sure that anything's developed doesn't break anything else. I'm going to give you a sneak peek onto UX because that's quite exciting. The code's exciting as well. UX stands for user experience.
So your code is PHP based, ASP based?
At the moment, we do a whole mix. At the moment, Brian's running some Cold Fusion there, but actually we use different stuff. We're using a lot of Ruby, Rails, we're doing stuff with Memcache, Redis stuff.
You're doing a mobile application?
Pete's work on some mobile stuff there. That stuff's coming out. It's the infrastructure, our servers. We invest a huge amount on the platform. Everything's hosted with a company called Rackspace. We invest heavily in that, and he and his team are responsible for making sure our servers up and running, improving the performance. Ian, how many servers do we have?
We have just over 60 servers right at the moment.
Wow.
And devices and total?
Devices, including networking devices, around 75 across.
That's like load balancers?
Yeah, load balancers, firewalls, backup devices, and we've got 5 cabinets for Rackspace at the moment.
What about cloud hosting?
So we use some elements of cloud for certain aspects, but because our application is so database intensive, the cloud really is not suitable for all areas of what we do at the moment. But I think one of the things you looked at with the email was that, wasn't it? Being able to plug in and
scale on demand. We also use it for staging and testing certain feature branches. We also use Rackspace's cloud files to back up logs that we don't need every day, but we may need to come back to.
Jason, in terms of the technology we use, it's one of the main sort of areas the team are working with.
Well, the main site at the moment is written in Cold Fusion, working with MySQL, it's the back-end database. We're going through the whole process at the moment of building an API, and that API is going to be based on Ruby on Rails. And that's going to open up all kinds of possibilities over the next year and a half, where we can work on the mobile platform, we can work on the desktop platform, we can work on whole new systems using the API. Expand the capabilities of partners and what they can do. And that's really the focus at the moment.
What are your plans? Are you late to the game, competing with, let's say, Zeus or Mambu or Badu? I mean, and even this Blender, it's growing at this.
I think the thing with huge respect for sites like Blender, Badu, Zeus, what a business needs to balance is quantity versus quality. And we absolutely believe that quality comes first, because you can always scale and get quantity. Now, if I wanted to find a date, and I think Badoo's well over 150 million people on Badoo, needle in a haystack. So what's important is about providing a relevant experience, and because we're predominantly a subscription business, people pay for, and 30 million, I think it's about $50 million a year revenue. Now we're a sizable player. When we add mobile to the platform, it will be going across everything, and like everything else we do, it will be solid. It'll be mobile, web, and apps across everything. When we add social, again, it goes to such a massive scale. So I think what's important is the successful businesses will those that combine the economics of mobile and social. So with Badoo, for example, it's very cheap to acquire customers, but it suggests they don't make much return for customers. The same with Zeus to a degree. They grew predominantly by actually buying apps that already existed and growing it that way. You can spend a lot of money and get users. What's important is profitable traffic. So for us, I think, is there a way that a business can acquire quality traffic at lower cost using social and mobile, but convert it and retain it, so we have lifetime values, are paying customers $200-300 lifetime values, which completely crushes the free sites. That will be the challenge, and I think the right business will achieve that, and I think the next few months are going to be really interesting for people here. And it's just about making sure when we do mobile and social, we do it in the right way. We have a jump because we've got the partnerships there, we've got the members there, so it's just a case of adding on the technology, and then it's exciting. So no, I don't think we missed the ball on that. I think we've waited till the time is right and we do it properly. You can see in the distance there, that's Windsor Castle. It's the largest castle in Europe. Elements of it well over 1,000 years old.
And that's where the Queen comes from.
That's where the Queen, she lives out 3 months of the year. She'll be in residence, and because the Royal Standard's flying. It's a really nice place to work. We're close enough to London.
I sign up for Global Person. I acquire, let's say I get 1 million signups. Now I want to sell the business. Have any of your clients ever sold business in the past?
Only a handful at this stage, because to be frank, most of them are making an amazing lifestyle business at present. We've got partners doing 5-6 figure monthly revenues, and it's like, well, why sell at that point when you've got the rapid growth? Absolutely, if someone's looking to acquire a dating business, they want a process, they want, what's unique about the marketing process, they want something that's scalable, partners can demonstrate that, they want to buy a brand, so absolutely they can do that. Obviously, as we provide a platform for a lot of partners, what's important is anyone buying that business is going to want to buy the platform as well, and there's ways you can do that. Absolutely, you can build a business on the white label dating platform and then sell it. It's just a case of looking at where the value is really.
So this is your office?
Yeah, this is my office as well. I sort of base myself, have the team here. I occasionally bring my dog to work. One of the reasons as well why my office is blacked out, it's not because of some high security or privacy or anything, it's because it stops the dog barking when I leave her in here.
Are there age groups within demographics of your database? There's a higher percentage of, for example, 55 and older, you have more of those?
It's pretty widespread. We've got our general business, our mature business. So no, it's a pretty widespread. I think, 30 and 40 somethings are big users, but because of our partners, we've got the largest magazine for over 50s runs a site on our platform. They don't position it as dating, they position it as a friend finder site. But it's fundamentally the same thing. That gives us quite a widespread. Fully privately owned. We've got 3 shareholders, myself, Steve, and a minority shareholder. It's public knowledge I have about 72.5% of the business. What that means, we can move a lot quicker than publicly traded companies, and we can be different in our approach, because obviously publicly traded companies, there are laws governing how they can be run. I would never want to be a public company because frankly we've got some competitors at public companies. We see all their results, we see all their metrics they have to announce to the city, and we know we're doing a lot better than them. That's great for us.
And then any plans to acquire any other businesses?
We're absolutely acquisitive. There's a couple of deals at the moment we're looking at. We're a successful business. For us, it's saying where can they add value to our partners? Things around mobile, for example. Are there great mobile services that could benefit actually from our scale? Very difficult for people to compete in the space without using the platform now, because for our 50%, we provide partners for so much. So we'd be interested in acquiring on the mobile side and on the international side for new territories. Companies in the US that may want to exit, have got a great database or good brands. Those are particularly interesting at the moment. It's sort of
typical of a .com company. You got a game room.
So we've got their football tables, not foosball tables, football tables. Playing there, and pool tables and Xbox and everything else.
Where do you see Global Personals in a year from now and 5 years from now?
I think a year from now, the international mobile and social area has been really interesting. It'd be good to talk again in 12 months, see how it's developed, or even actually at iDate in January. I think there's going to be some interesting developments to talk about that. In 5 years from now, wow, I don't know, 4 years ago, we were doing $5 million a year, we're now doing $50 million a year. Do I think in 5 years we'll be doing $500 million a year? No, maybe. This business has grown massively, and what's really exciting about it is everything we've done has worked out well, and our partners are really hungry for more success. It's going to be interesting in the next 5 years.
Your opinion of Match's purchase of OkCupid for $50 million, what's your takes on it?
If Match paid $50 million in cash for OkCupid, if that is the case, I think that's a very, very expensive purchase. I think with it's a good brand, and the guys there are really talented. I think OkCupid does some really good stuff. I think the free space is not as easy as people would have you believe. I know it's not. We know what sort of revenues free companies do, and actually it's difficult to be profitable for those. Maybe Match needed a free site, maybe IC thought that it would fit in the portfolio. Maybe they were paying OkCupid lots of money to acquire traffic from there anyway, and it made sense. I always think it's difficult for these larger businesses when they acquire to keep the entrepreneurial spirit that small companies have, and I think Sam and his team there at OkCupid did an amazing job. If I was a shareholder in IC, I'd want to make sure that team were motivated to stay in the business and give those guys the flexibility to run it and grow it as they know best. And that goes for all acquisitions, really. If you're going to acquire people and acquire talent, let them do what they want to do. Don't try and change them.
Where do you see the free market?
Well, the free model, since Mark's turned up with Plenty of Fish saying it's going to crush the dating industry, we've just grown on leaps and bounds. Why? Because our partners buy traffic from them. They rely on us to make money. If people are serious about meeting, they'll go on Plenty of Fish, they'll try it out, and then they'll pay money so they don't get loads of. It's not saying that these people are on Plenty of Fish, but on a free site, one might have scammers. A girl, vaguely good-looking, would have hundreds or thousands of messages, and it's not a great experience. And look, for half the price of a latte each day, you can go and have great experience. You go through the customer care that you've seen, the moderation, the investment in quality. It's not much to ask. What is the price of love? A bit more than a cup of coffee.